All right, people, we're back again, 1 degree. Me and my brother Reedy trying to move the consciousness of the world and humanity 1 degree. Today we are on the third part of a 10-part series talking about the Ten Commandments. We are breaking down the esoteric meaning of the Ten Commandments. We've done the first two. If you haven't watched those, I highly recommend you go back and check them out. And now we are on the third commandment. And this is another one that people get so misunderstood. So you ready to do this, bro?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Man, Reedy, if you don't mind, could you read Exodus 20, verses 7?
Yes, sir. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
So, obviously, when most people hear this, the first thing they think of is you can't say goddamn.
Right, right,
You
right.
can't use the Lord's name in vain. But
Yeah,
let me assure everyone that mentioning God's name in a good or a bad way has zero power because it's just a title. The word God is actually a title, just like me and you are humans.
yes.
And but that doesn't describe the essence of who Reedy is. It doesn't describe the essence of who Akashic is. It's just a title. So the word God can be applied to anything. So on the surface, yeah, it says do not use the word the name God in vain, but it's definitely way deeper than that, Jay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you mentioned, might have been the last podcast about God's name, I am, and I've thought this prior to this study that if I say anything negative after I am, I'm cursing myself. You know what I mean? And that affects my reality. And just changing that positivity in my life is, man, I can't even explain it. I'm a new,
Absolutely.
I'm a new person. I'm a new thing. But
All
yeah,
right,
it's
Jay. So we're gonna we're gonna break this down into little small segments. And we're gonna digest and unpack this. So first off, what most people don't understand is that the first section says, "Thou shalt not." Now, you have to remember that this was translated in the 1600s in the Victorian era, where they spoke things like "thou shalt this" and "thou," like they were big with the thous. But "thou shalt not" actually means you cannot. If I say "thou shalt not walk on the sun," I really mean you cannot walk on the sun. Thou shalt not walk in Antarctica naked. You cannot walk
right.
in Antarctica naked. So
Not long.
that so what you have to understand is "thou shalt not" in their day meant you cannot.
Hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that, but it makes sense. Yeah, they definitely. It's crazy to think back that this is all from the 1600s. It's actually written before that, just translated in the 1600s and
Right,
chopped up.
right. Okay, so the next part says the name of the Lord thy God. Now, to us, name means title. I'm Akashic, that's my title. You're Reedy, that's your title. But to them, name meant essence. It meant the makeup of who you are. And then the thy God, which we've already discussed, is the I am, the me, the God presence in me. So what the scripture is saying is you cannot take the divine presence in you in vain. Now, the next component to this is that the word vain. The word vain to them meant useless or powerless. So this sentence is saying you cannot take the divine presence in you as powerless.
Hmm.
That's what that means.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I mean that's completely different than what I expected because I told you, we talked about I am. I expected that's where this was going. Like,
Mm-mm.
because that's how I feel, just not saying anything negative about myself and try not to have negative thoughts. Or actually, when I have negative thoughts about myself, I immediately think the opposite, because I'm controlling I'm creating my future, based on what I believe to be true.
It's about to get deep, Jay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember I told you that the first commandment is the law of mentalism. The second commandment is the law of correspondence. This commandment is the law of being. And so the law of being in metaphysics, it states your inner consciousness, who you are being, reflects the outer consciousness, the outer reality. So in metaphysics, the law of being says that the inner you, who you're being, reflects and creates your outer reality. And so that's what this is saying. It's saying that the divine power in you, you cannot consider it useless because it's always working, it's always on. And now the esoteric, even deeper into this, is what is your ideal of God? Like what do you consider God to be to you? And I'm not talking about like the church's version. I'm talking
Right.
about like what it means to you. Like if you think God is a literal jealous God that's punishing people, sending them to hell and rewarding with heaven and all that, then that's your version of God. If you think that God can do anything, that's your version of God. If you are an atheist and you believe in science or nature, then that's your God. Everybody has a God and everybody has a meaning to that God. So the ideal of God is what this is talking about when it's talking about the essence. Everybody has a different ideal of God, the essence of God.
Yeah. It's interesting that science is catching up with what the Bible taught, and there's no way they could know this science now. I mean, everything's showing what this taught, and other religions too. This isn't the only one for sure. I mean, you know
Very
better
true.
than me. Yeah.
So if you believe that God can heal you, then that's what your essence is. If you believe that God can't do your finances, then that's you are confining God to those limitations.
Yeah.
And you you write your own reality, but when you do that, you have to live by the laws that you have created by limiting the what your ideal of God is. So if you get sick and you only believe that the doctor can heal you and you don't believe that the thing that created you can heal you, then that's your belief in what you feel is God. And so now we're gonna move on because we're gonna circle back. But the last part says, will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Now what that means is that whether you are ignorant or whether you have knowledge, these laws are being held against you or for you. So it doesn't matter if you don't know what these laws mean, you're guiltless or whatever. If you take the essence of the divine spirit in you as useless or powerless, you will be held accountable for. Let me give you an example. If you had a 2-year-old child, a saint, and a murderer all standing on a 10-story building, you pushed all three off. The universe is not sending an angel to say, hey, this little 2-year-old child is innocent. The universe is not sending an angel to say, hey, this guy is a saint. I guarantee you, all three are going to fall and hit the ground at the exact same time because Earth gravity pulls everything that is in a certain weight range to the ground at the same time. So even though the 2-year-old child is guiltless and doesn't know, is ignorant, the universal laws are working for you or against you at all times. It doesn't matter. And I keep telling people the universe isn't moral, it's mechanical. It's not moral, it's mechanical. That's what the last part means.
Hmm.
Like if you it doesn't care that a person is a good person or a bad person. If you stick your finger in an electric socket, what's gonna happen?
Right. You're getting shocked, whoever you are. Yeah.
You could be guiltless. He doesn't know. You can accidentally walk across a wire and bump it. The universe doesn't care. It's not moral, it's mechanical.
Hmm. That's
That
wild.
makes sense?
Yeah. 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 All of it does. You blow me away with these every time, man, because we don't talk about it ahead of time. Uh,
I told you, I was like, the Ten Commandments are the most important rules ever invented if you know what they mean. Because on the surface, when you look at that, man, don't say, this, that, and the third or whatever. No, it doesn't mean that at all. And in fact, why is this law so important? This law is so important because whatever box you put God in is the ability of the God to be for you. So if you don't believe that, in life, we all want fastballs. We want a perfect relationship. We want the perfect job, perfect bank account. We want everything to line up. We want fastballs. Life says, no, no,
mhm.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw some curveballs. I'm gonna throw
Yeah.
some sliders. I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw
Change ups.
knuckleballs, this, that, and the third. If your thought process and your ideal of God is limiting, then you're gonna have problems hitting those balls. You're gonna have problems overcoming all of those problems because you're you only believe in nature. Well, then you've only limited God to help you to nature. If you believe in science, you've only limited God to help you to science because God doesn't force itself on anyone. It's reflective. And it's important because when you understand who you are and that you cannot use the word God or the name God in vain, then the full power of God becomes available to you. Then healing comes, then abundance comes because you know that God, the divine source in you is limitless. So you have to approach it that way because if you use the Lord's name in vain, the essence of God as powerless, then that's what it will be in your life. You're literally making reality.
Hmm. Wow. Hey, I you froze up a little bit there. I don't know if you caught that.
It didn't
That's
freeze up on my end, but
okay. Yeah,
what
I
part
might have
did you
missed a little
miss?
bit in there. I got the gist of what you were saying.
Okay.
It definitely I see it in my life, man. I and Jesus said he when he prays believeth can have whatever he asks for. So if you believe, anything's possible because
He
that
also touched on the law of being on
yeah,
Matthew 25, 29. For whoever has will be given more and in abundance, and he who has not, even what you have will be taken from you. That's the law of being. If
yeah,
you are it, you will get it and more. And if you're not it, you cannot have what you don't have.
yeah, yeah. And meditation, I think, is the key, it feels like to me, based on my experience. I had I'm in the middle of a fast. I don't know if I told you this.
Okay.
I'm on day 4 of a 5-day fast.
Ooh.
Just yeah, there's a lot of health benefits, and I want to see if it helps my meditation. Actually, I had a vision of something in my meditation the other night, the third day of the fast. Um, and I was in front of a couple rock formations, and I could tell that I was at the top of a mountain, and I could see that it went over, and there was more mountains farther in the distance. I'm, I'm afraid of heights, like terrified of heights. My first thought was, I'm not afraid. I'm going to move toward this.
Hmm.
And as I started, I don't know if it was getting closer. If I was moving, it was whatever. As soon as I started to move and it started getting closer, it went away. It disappeared completely. Lost it. I don't know what it means, but I haven't had an experience like that, any kind of vision. It was just so vivid right in front of me. And I
Yeah.
don't know what got me on that. I just wanted to share that with you because we hadn't
Well,
talked
the
about it.
divine presence will give you uh answers, even though sometimes you can't all the way understand it. But
Yeah.
it's all depending on what you believe is possible. That divine presence. This also speaks to saying the oneness of God, like the unity of God. Like everything, you're not just the you're not just creation is just not happening through you, it's happening. I said that backwards. Creation is not
To you.
happening to you, it's happening through you because that divine presence in you creates the oneness. In Revelations 12:13, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. I am me in the Alpha, what I believe internally, and the Omega, which will be manifested. I am the Alpha and Omega, the me, the divine source in me. I am the Alpha and the Omega. You cannot use the name of God in vain. You cannot render it useless because you and creation are one. You and your reality are one. So if you change your mindset, if you have a limiting belief of God and you don't use his name in vain and you give God the power from within, then your external will match that. Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed of your mind. So if you transform your thinking process, then everything else will change. There's still time, but it's telling
Yeah.
you that until you know this, then you it's going to be held against you. It even says in Isaiah 45:7, which is one of my favorite scriptures. It says, "I I I form the light and the darkness. I create peace and I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things." The divine presence in you, how you view God, does all these things. Isaiah 45, 5. I am the Lord, and there is none else but me. Unity, creation. So
All one.
this is way deeper than it just seems on the surface. And when you know the esoteric meaning of it, this is telling you, as long as you are using the power in you in vain as useless and limiting, then you will continue to have problems because life is going to continue to say, next, next, next. It's going to keep throwing things at you, next. And as long as you are using the Lord's name in vain, you are going to struggle. That's what this means. This is the law of being, Jay.
Yeah. It's everything in the Bible is parables and
Like we said last video.
yeah. And uh, isn't that true for most religions? Those that were in had their own hidden languages too, like
Yeah.
older religions.
The
Like this is
Bhagavad
just
Gita is full of that.
they're not the first, to use that, which how that's been missed for some. I know how it's been missed by me. I guess it's the same for most. I think World Wide Web is going to help that get it out there, and we're going to help
Yeah,
get it out there
absolutely.
as
That's
well.
what we hear. But
Yeah.
like you said, there's ancient texts from beyond here. Like I said, I mentioned the Bhagavad Gita.
Hmm.
I've read that. and it's a beautiful story about Krishna. And there's a lot of things. It's an allegorical story, and it talks about there's none other than me. If you devote yourself to me, if you give all your energy to me, then like it's just constantly telling you about going inside, going
Yeah,
inside. That's why, like you said, through your fast, your self-mastery, and then you go into your meditative state and you become super positioned being yes and no at the same time, you'll start to receive all of these things because
yeah,
you're open and your viewpoint of what God is, because we all have a God, whether it's science, whether if you're atheist, you don't believe you have a God, you something is a God to you. You just it's the same uh it's the same candy bar just in a different wrapper.
right, right, right. Yeah. It that is a big part of why I'm fasting too, is to make myself do stuff I don't want to do. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we're Americans are addicted to food, so it's a hard thing not to do. Now, I did build up to this. I didn't just do a 5 day fast. I did 24, 48, 72. I feel
Yeah.
great though, man. I feel great.
On a
Still,
side note, all addictions are because of people's not wanting to be in discomfort. When
yeah,
you have an addiction, it's because you do not like being uncomfortable. And the
yeah,
minute that you crave that food or the drug or the weed or the alcohol or whatever, that your body is being in a state of discomfort. And because a lot of people don't like being this in a state of uncomfortable, then they give in to the addiction. That's what addiction
yeah,
is
yeah.
predicated on or whatever. But Jay, that's like I said, it's another deep one, another deep dive.
I love it, man. I love it. I can't imagine where we're going from here, but I'm excited. This has been fun.
Well, the next one is remember the Sabbath. So hopefully after the next one, somebody maybe can send this video to Chick-fil-A and they can open up on Sundays.
They got some good chicken.
Like you closing on Sunday. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
man?
yeah. So much money.
Man,
So much
open your
money.
butt up and give me some mac and cheese.
Yeah. Man, did I mention I'm on a 5 day fast? You're talking about
Yeah, my
food.
bad, my bad.
I was just telling Cassie that I feel like I keep getting into conversations about food all week. That's all I've been talking about is food. Like everybody wants to talk about food.
Like I
Which,
said, you want a fastball, but the universe is like, no, no, no,
yeah,
no, no.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
curveball. Every
yeah,
commercial is gonna be McDonald's. Every commercial is gonna be Domino's,
for
Pizza Hut.
sure, for sure. I accept the challenge. I'll get through the
Absolutely.
5 days. I set out to do it. I'll do it. I can do it.
Self-mastery, my bro. The same reason why Jesus went up into the mountain.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not.
Self-mastery.
I'm not doing 40 days, but
All right, brother. Well, people, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully, we were able to break it down to give you a new state of awareness for this. Change your perception of the divine power in you because you cannot use the Lord thy God's name in vain. Whatever your belief of the ability of God will be reflected into your reality. That's what this third commandment means. And until we see you on the next video, we appreciate y'all.